Dr. Lupo, thank you for being with us. I really appreciate the time you're taking to share a bit of your life right now and
Of
how
course.
it is looking. So let me start right away. First question. I think it's a very normal question, this specific and particular time. How are you living this lockdown?
Um, it's funny. I know a lot of people's lives have been impacted in a pretty big way, a very meaningful way. Mine, though, I'm pretty lucky because I mean, you're on the camera. You can see this is where I work. So my day-to-day life is almost unchanged. In fact, if anything, because a lot of people have downtime, I wish it was for a different reason, like a better reason. But I think on average, a lot of live stream platforms have higher viewership across the board because people are at home and have that kind of time to do that, which is, like I said, good for me and other people in my position. Not so great for people that are watching, and I feel really bad that that's the case. But at least we're being given the opportunity to distract people from everything else in the world that's going on right now. But yeah, for me personally, I mean, my day to day is pretty much the same. I would say the larger impact in my house falls on my wife and my son because no daycare, no swimming lessons for Charlie. Sam leaves the house once a week tops. There's just a lot of everything's kind of restricted down because we want to be as safe as possible. Sam's situation, because she has Lyme disease as well as a couple other things like mild asthma, put us in a situation where she wants minimal risk when it comes to potentially getting sick because you never know what can happen. So we've been pretty canned up in the house, and I know a lot of people know the feeling of being a little stir crazy. I definitely know that she has that. But outside of that, I think everything's kind of proceeding as per usual for us, just because my job allows me to stay here at home, which is nice.
Sure. And, it's funny, but we had the same feeling. It was almost like COVID kind of stopped the world, but
Yep.
accelerated the esport industry. And
Oh yeah.
it's really crazy. It's almost like we saw that esport was already something, mass and big, but all of a sudden it became the entertainment system for the entire world. I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
what you think about it.
No, I 100% agree. Suddenly, I mean, we saw places like Fox News started doing like the sim racing and stuff for NASCAR and Formula One. We've seen that side explode in growth, which is great. It's also put a lot of like games, a lot of developers in a situation where if they were doing live events before, like Fortnite, all that stuff has been moved 100% to an online format right now, which creates kind of a weird situation where you got people that are playing from home and you can't fairness check everybody. There's been some controversy around like people colluding in Fortnite events and all sorts of stuff. It's been wild because we're all separated from each other, so there's no hands on like there used to be, which it's kind of crazy. But you're right, the growth has been exponential because now you have an opportunity to put gaming and esports in front of people that would not normally have that kind of exposure. And that's great.
Absolutely. And, this takes me actually to another point. How do you see now the future of esport? What do you think are the new hot things, hot topic coming out of our industry?
It's interesting. I think we're in a position now where gaming it has the opportunity to explode even more in growth than it has in the last 2 years. Fortnite and other games have expanded in a big way because now they have the opportunity to do so. I think what happens over the next 6 to 12 months is going to be largely dictated by whether or not places start to reopen and how fast that happens. And hopefully, whatever choice is made is done in the safest way possible because obviously you don't want to risk anybody. But I think now is the time for them to continue to work on building widely accepted, competitive events. You have on the other side of that, though, is like the entertainment side, like Party Royale and Fortnite has been huge. They've done live concerts in a game that millions of people can go to for free because if they play Fortnite, then they can just go into the game mode when it's time, which is cool. There's a lot of chances for growth and a lot of opportunities, I think, for creativity in a way that we haven't really seen a lot of people go after. because they've never been literally forced into a position where that's their only option. And now companies like Epic and Infinity Ward, Treyarch, whichever COD we're talking about at the time, whatever game it is, those companies now have to make those choices to pursue events that will engage the audience in a way that feels familiar to like a LAN event, but they can't do it in person anymore. They have to do it online, which is I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was very impactful, the concert of Travis Scott and then Steve Aoki and all the others that followed. I think it really broke, a wall that it's very
Oh
hard
yeah.
now to go back. It's almost like there was a revolution that happened and it opened a gate and now everybody's going to fill in.
It definitely showed. I think there's two sides to that too. If you look at just the music side, that industry, it showed that people love those they want that experience. They want the live music experience. And if that's the best way they can get it right now, then they're going to jump on board. It also definitely reminds us that I think being in person at a show is much different. It's hard to match that. But the bottom line is, at least Epic and those musicians are trying to do everything they can to provide the same experience for people, because the alternative is literally nothing. They just choose to do nothing. And I think people should remember that the best option is one that provides something for people, because the alternative is dead air. And I think music especially is one of those driving forces behind a lot of people's lives. So being able to get that in some way, even if it's a digital experience, while it doesn't match being in person, it's better than nothing.
Absolutely. And by the way, it was a new type of experience because you could enjoy a show with an avatar and do things that you cannot normally do at a show. So I think there was something there as well that it kind of intrigued me. Anyway, I wanted to move to another subject that I know it's very important for you, and it's very important for myself as well, because I'm doing the same type of action here on the other side of the world. So I wanted to ask you about something very important for you. That is how you've been supporting, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. It's something that I know you've been doing for quite some time, and you have achieved some amazing results. And I really like for you to tell us more about it.
Yeah. So St. Jude and a number of other charities, I've taken the opportunity with the platform that people gave to me. I mean, I consider myself super lucky to get to where I am with, thousands of people. I think this morning I had 17,000 people watching me, which is mind blowing to me. That's like you're like filling part of a stadium with just those people. And so because I have a chance to be in front of a lot of people and maybe do something good with it, St. Jude is kind of the primary one I've picked to try and focus those people's energy for financial support in some way. Obviously no obligation, but and my wife and I give what we can to that as well. So it's not just I'm like harnessing other people's money to raise money for St. Jude. But we try and create an environment where something positive like that can be supported. And so over the last couple of years, and I don't know the exact number, so I apologize for that. But I think in the last 4 years, we've raised $5.3 million for St. Jude.
Wow.
And we wouldn't be able to do that. Thank you. We wouldn't be able to do that without the people that are watching me. It's them 100%. It's not me. I'm just a lightning rod for their positivity, because St. Jude is one of those places where kids that are suffering from some of the most horrible stuff in the entire world go to get better, and they do get better, which is incredible. St. Jude's research is shared globally with everybody for absolutely free. You don't have to pay a dime. In fact, the people that get admitted to St. Jude, the kids, the families, they don't pay for a single thing, from flight to housing, to every medication, to every procedure, every surgery, everything, chemotherapy, for life, in relation to what they're going through. And I think some people don't even realize that if a child goes there, not only do they cover the transportation and relocation for the entire family, they also help the parents get jobs. They cover everything for the kids the entire time they're there. It's incredible. There are a lot of really good causes in the world, and there are a lot of worthwhile causes that are worth supporting. And I've done as much research as I can about a number of different places that have come up. But St. Jude for me is one of the most incredible because it has an insanely high percentage. So, like, let's say you donate $1. Uh, if the numbers haven't changed, and I apologize if I'm wrong on this, roughly 83 cents per dollar goes directly to paying for medication, paying for travel. Obviously, the people that work at the hospital have to make a living so they can support their families. So a little bit of it goes towards paying for those people's jobs, which should be a no-brainer for a lot of people. But 83 cents per dollar, again, don't remember the exact number. I think that's right, is one of the highest, if not the highest, as far as cancer research goes, that you can as support for the kids themselves. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. St. Jude feels like it's not real sometimes when you know all the numbers and all the information. You get to talk to the people. And I've had the chance to go there in person. I'm lucky enough that I've never had to deal with cancer in my family. I consider that yeah, if you take my position in the streaming world as the luckiest thing to ever happen, that having to never deal with cancer might actually be above that in terms of because I've seen what these people go through. I've never experienced it, which, like I said, I don't know that I could imagine how painful it is. But seeing these people do what they do, and still, man, these kids that come out of there every day, they go in for chemotherapy and they still have a smile on their face. That's mind blowing. That's a real hero, you know. And the doctors and nurses and everybody, that all the administrative staff there are those are actual real life superheroes, because they're taking care of kids that are fighting against the worst things in the world. You can tell I'm passionate about it because I get all worked up even just talking about it, because it's important people realize that if they donate even just $1, they're helping save a life. They're helping give parents more time with those kids. And there are few things in life that are as rewarding, as positive, as influential as that.
No, I totally agree. And as a matter of fact, my family support the OTB Foundation is the foundation that we made with our group. And I totally understand the importance of finding organizations and projects that give back as much as possible. That's why, also with our foundation, we choose to do only local activities, because we're able to control and see the impact of our giving, to the community. So I want to thank what they are doing, because I never give for granted when people use their visibility to give back to the society. And, I really hope and wish that more people in this world, not only in esport, but let's say in entertainment system as well, would use their image to do what you're doing. So I really, I want to give you an applause, because you deserve it. And please don't stop. And we need more people like you in the system.
Well,
so
coming up in June is the next charity event. So when you say don't stop, I promise you I don't plan on it yet. Don't worry. We got big plans in the works.
And I know you did something amazing last year, like something like a world record of raising in 4.5 hours at least, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
4.5 hours. This is great.
Yeah, last year, the end of the Guardian Con Marathon, I was the anchor last year. So Guardian Con's it's GCX now, is a week-long charity marathon where we change. Yeah, it's a channel on Twitch that content creators switch out every 4 hours for a week straight. And the last block that is the anchor block is that's like the home stretch, right? They get to a goal, and then whatever that last block is always insane. And my 4.5 hours, because I went a little longer, did $920,000, which I still can't believe that. And so I have the anchor block again this year. So people that listen or watch, go check out. Just go to Twitter and look up GCX, and you'll find GCX event is the Twitter account. All the information is there. I'm the last block again, and we're gonna you never know, man. Maybe we beat 920K this year. Even if it's just $1, that's still $1 towards going to saving somebody's life, and that's important.
you have a goal, and I'm sure you're gonna do everything you can to beat, your record. So we look forward for that. Actually, we're gonna be cheering for you and supporting.
Thank you.
So let me close for with two questions, that are more of about Dr.Lupo's life. So
Yeah.
I'm curious. I have two things that I want to ask you for a long time. First thing is if you have a favorite fashion brand, or what are your favorite fashion brands?
Okay. I'm 33, so I'm not. If you look at like the crossover of fashion and gaming, I'm not necessarily the target audience anymore, which is kind of crazy. But I to a point, I think anybody can kind of still fill that role. But the one thing for me that has always been like a statement every time that I'll always go out of my way to look at, and I'm sure my wife gets tired of it sometimes because of what my closet looks like. But shoes. I've always been a big shoe guy. I have probably too many pairs of Adidas and a ton of different styles and a ton of different colors and all sorts of that. I probably need to clean my closet out a little bit, to be honest with you. So yeah, it's Samantha. If you listen to this afterwards, I apologize. I'll take care of it. I swear. But that's always been one of those things because to me, a shoe style says a lot about how a person carries himself. You can have all sorts of stuff down on your feet, and they can be in all sorts of styles. You can have colors and designs and patterns and different textures. There's so many things now that go into designing like a really catchy, a really perfect shoe for different occasions. That's for some reason that's always been a big thing for me is shoe design, uh, which I know may not be a shoe is obviously a big part of a style, a look, but that's always been a thing for me. Like when I meet somebody new, actually, I don't know if you noticed when we met in New York City, I definitely checked your guys' shoes as well. It's just always one of those things that I like seeing what people put on their feet because from time to time, you'll see things that are totally contrasting to what everything else they have on. You'll have stuff that matches perfectly. It's kind of crazy. It's like the the garnish on a meal. It's like the icing on the cake is to me has always been the shoe.
If you love shoes, I got to put you in contact with my friend Denis Dekovic. That was on one of our interviews previously. He is the creative director at Adidas.
For
And
real? Wow.
yeah, the first time you are in New York, you have to go see their design studio. It's just amazing. You're going to be blown up. I mean, they
Okay.
do things you could never imagine.
That's
So
cool.
next one, I'm going to loop you guys, and I'm sure you're going to become best buddies. He's a very cool guy.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
And the last question is linked to music. Then, do you have any favorite genre, any favorite band, performer, DJ?
So let's see. I've been listening to like alternative rock and stuff like that since I was really young, but I would say in the last maybe 10 years, 15 years, EDM has been one of those things that's become a really big part of my life. And actually, Deadmau5 is probably one of my favorite artists of all time, which is why when the event in Fortnite happened, not the first week that they did the Party Royale thing, but the second, but it was Dylan Francis, Steve Aoki, and Deadmau5. I've never seen him live. And so seeing him in the game and being able to listen to music with chat and that whole experience for me was kind of mind blowing because it was a bunch of firsts for me all at the same time, including seeing one of my favorite artists ever as live as I could get at the time. You know what I mean? I love Deadmau5. I love all those guys are fantastic. Dylan Francis' music is wonderful. Diplo is great. Stevie Aoki, of course, is a legend. And so that kind of stuff, seeing the crossover, the blend of EDM and gaming right now, that's like a dream come true, man. To be honest with you, it's incredible. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Did you ever play any instrument?
Actually, so growing up, I played violin for
Oh, wow.
7 years, 8 years. I also know how to play electric bass, a little bit of guitar. I can play piano a tiny bit, but violin was my big thing. It was one of those like in my generation, my parents very much were like, you have to learn how to play an instrument when we were in elementary school. And so violin was the one that we have a couple that have been in my family for a very, very long time. If anybody has ever heard of Joseph Guarnerius, Guarnerius is a super famous musician, designed violins. So we have an authentic Guarnerius in my family that is absolutely this gorgeous sunburst. Like it's like a yellow gold. It's beautiful. I played it for years and years and years, and actually it's at my parents' house. You just reminded me I have to go pick that up. But it's been music has been a big thing in my life for a really, really long time. And so being able to see my current career, like the situation that I'm in now, and music as a whole start to blend in a way that I never thought it would, has been an absolutely wonderful. It's been a wonderful event to witness. It's been really, really cool.
Fantastic. Then I'm very curious. Maybe one day you're going to show us something. Anyway,
I haven't played an instrument on stream or anything like that for anybody. Actually, I haven't played violin probably it's been about 10 years now, but I'm sure if I picked it up and give me an hour with it, I could probably remember what I'm doing. So
I would love to get 10 seconds of that. I would really love that.
We'll see what we can do.
Episode. Okay. I want to thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Lupo, for the time. I really wish you all the best. Wish you all the best for your challenge to raise money for St. Jude. And I really hope to see you and your beautiful family very soon.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you taking time to talk. It's you guys are wonderful, and I hope everything's going well over there. I hope, do me a favor, please stay safe, because if I do not get to see you again in person real soon, I'm gonna be sad. Okay, don't you forget that.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you. Have a good time. Bye.